All right, Colts fans, we are back with another film session interview. Here we're joined by Al-Quadin Muhammad, Colts defensive end, who, had a pretty good season last year, and you've been part of this team now for the last two seasons, I believe, since the Colts claimed you after the preseason, I believe, in 2018. So you've been a part of these two organizations. You were drafted by the Saints, you're with them for a bit, and now you've been with the Colts the last 2 years. How your experience has been kind of different with those two organizations. Like, I wouldn't ask you to compare them directly, but like, what are the differences that you kind of see between those two organizations there?
They both great. Both organizations are great organizations.
Mm.
I wouldn't really compare them too much. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't want to. I don't want to really do that. But like I said, both are great organizations. When I was in New Orleans, I was a younger player. I was a rookie, and I pretty much, it just wasn't. They were stacked. They were
Yeah.
stacked. It just really wasn't no room for me to really, play a ton or whatever. But I knew once I got the opportunity, to get on the field and play, no matter where it was at, I was gonna make an impact and help the team in any way I can. So when I left there, when Indianapolis picked me up off of waivers, I immediately had the opportunity to come in and learn information and make a huge impact. And each day I just came to work and worked as hard as I can, and did whatever the organization and the coaches and everybody asked me to do, and try to do it to the best of my ability. And immediately I just started gaining success.
Yeah, for sure. And especially for people who have followed your career here, you had a good career in Miami in college, and which led to you being a draft pick with the Saints. But these last 2 years, I mean, you could definitely see your game kind of growing a bit, to more of an all-around player. You're making impact in the pass game. You're one of the better run defenders on the team the last 2 years for the Colts. Where did that kind of, I guess, improvement kind of hit for you? I mean, was it just getting playing time? Was it anything in practice that it really kind of clicked? Or when did that kind of make that turn for you, like, becoming more of like an everyday role player that, is playing every Sunday?
Definitely getting playing time. Just really watching film with the team, watching film on my own, learning from my mistakes, learning from other people's mistakes. Just really, yeah. And then, each week or whatever the case may be, each day in practice, whatever, I just bring it, try to, play as hard as I can, do what they ask me to do, allowing them to coach me up and get me better, and, just taking that to the game on Sundays.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the one thing I've asked, I've talked to, you're my third defensive end I've talked to now, and with these interviews, I'm only really talking to the defensive ends, which is kind of funny, but I've talked to Kamoko Toure and Ben Banogu already. And the big thing I've been asking them is, you guys made another big acquisition this offseason and bringing in, a new defensive line coach in Brian Baker. Brian Baker has been around this league for so long. He's been, at the college level grooming guys, and in the NFL, he's worked with, guys like Ryan Kerrigan and Von Miller and Julius Peppers. Have you talked to Coach Baker at all yet, and how's your kind of feel for him so far as a coach?
He have a ton of experience. He coached a lot of great players. I'm just actually, I got a chance to talk to him. I'm just soaking everything in, and willing to take everything that he has to bring to the table, along with his experience. Playing on several different levels, as far as the college level and professional level. So just allowing him to coach me and give me insight on what I need to work on, and just I'm actually out there on the field day to day, just working on different things based off of the conversations I had with him.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard similar things from Toure and from Banogu as well, that you guys have all kind of had long conversation with him, and he's already telling you guys things to work on and stuff for your game and stuff like that, without even being face to face, which is really cool. But going back to this last year, last year was a very good year for you. I believe you finished with 3.5 sacks or 3 sacks, I believe, on the year.
Mm-hmm.
Around then, which was more than you had in 2018. So that sack production went up. Overall, your play, I think, stepped up this past year. And we're going to talk about a couple clips here. And one, in the first game, you make this very nice move here and get the sack here on the outside. We'll play the clip here. I love that long arm there and the dip under to get around the outside. And I remember, I think someone tweeted, NFL or something tweeted that it was one of the fastest sacks of that week or something like that. You and Kamoko had like the fastest 2 sacks of the week in NFL
Right.
Week 1. But I want to ask you kind of about this long arm here, because I've noticed that you use that a lot on your pass rush moves, especially when the guy jumps you here, because he does jump you on this play action, and you're able to get that long arm. Is that a move that you like to go to, like when the guy's jumping you, or when do you like to go to that long arm move?
Now, the thing is that he got on me pretty quick, by jumping me. And I just wanted to create space between us so I could pretty much dip and bend, So, that's pretty much what I try to do. And then, his hand was still on me a little bit. So I just wanted to bring that rip up to pretty much, get him up off me. And I realized when I was on the sideline and I wasn't in the game, I was just looking at, how Rivers dropped back, So I kind of had that spot that I needed to get to, and I knew for a fact, the tackle, he didn't know where he was at, so that kind of gave me an advantage to be able to make that play right there, that particular play.
Yeah, and I've talked to a lot of defensive ends over the past 2 years. I've done a lot of this kind of film stuff with them, and I've heard a lot that a lot of defensive ends, they have kind of like landmarks that they're going for, especially when they're trying to dip that corner and get around. By noticing where Rivers is getting in his pocket, where would you say is kind of your landmark, on this play? And did you kind of is this your landmark to get just behind him? Like, where would you say is kind of your landmark?
I don't really want to talk landmarks right now, but to be honest with you, depends on how the quarterback drop and the depth of the quarterback, and whether he's up under center or in shotgun. Sometimes that could change, and depending on the set of the tackle, some of that stuff changes or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. And then we did kind of mention here, you're using that long arm because he jumped you. You wanted to create that separation there.
Right.
And it's always something interesting I like to ask defensive ends when it comes to being jumped versus vertical sets. Is it something that you kind of plan for throughout the week? Like, okay, if this guy jumps me, I have this in mind if he is vertical set, or is it kind of more a reaction thing just to create that?
It's more reaction, a field thing, reaction, a field thing and reaction based off, what you're getting and understanding how to defeat that particular look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, this tackle, I believe he was like a undrafted rookie or something like that going into the game. So you guys didn't have a ton of film on him. But, when you're watching offensive tackles preparing for the week, what are you really studying? Is it his technique? Is it some of those little nuances in his game?
I'm watching, first off, I'm watching tons of plays and I'm saying, what's the team like to do? And based off certain situations or whatever the case may be, what does this particular player like to do? And I'm looking for tells on when it's pass and when it's run and stuff like that. And I'm also looking at pretty much anything I could get to get a jump, because sometimes if I beat him off the ball, sometimes it really don't matter what he does.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for, a tell or a key to get off that ball as fast as possible, whether it's him, or something the center does or whatever, before he snapped the ball to indicate when he's going to snap the ball. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
And then
that's that.
Yeah, and then my other question with this clip here is, 2018, it took you all the way into the playoffs to get your first sack, and you had a lot of really good rushes that were like a second away from getting a sack. But
a ton.
A ton. I know there was a couple against the Jaguars. I remember you were like just an inch away in 2018. How did it feel to kind of get that first sack in game 1 this year rather than, week 17, 18 last year?
To be honest, I think it's just getting the opportunity to be able to rush the quarterback and stuff like that. And being in, when you play more, you get more opportunities, and based off, certain calls and certain things or whatever the case may be that kind of plays a factor or whatever. But it felt great, and each year I'm definitely gonna get better. I'm gonna watch myself, evaluate myself, better myself, work on my technique, work on my quickness, my hands and everything, my feet, my hips, all that type of stuff, so I can get more sacks. It's my contract year. After this, I'll be a free agent or whatever. But I think I think I'm in a great place based off some of the things I have done, and just keep going up and up and up and climbing that ladder of success as a player.
Yeah, for sure. And then get into this next clip here. I'll probably move this over to this side so it's easier to see. But this play here was one of my favorite rushes. Even though you didn't get the sack on this, I mean, the guy is able to get his hands on you, make good contact. But I love how you're able to redirect here after he's able to, he gets that good hand hit on you, does kind of disrupt a little bit, but then you redirect and just bull rush him into the quarterback to get that forced incomplete pass. And something I really like when it comes to talking pass rushers and talking this type of game is, not every rush is going to go 100% the way you want. Your moves aren't always going to be perfect. Sometimes you have to readjust and do whatever you can to disrupt the pass here. I mean, is that kind of what's going on here? You're able you just get into that bull rush to try to disrupt the pass.
Well, I knew once he saw me, I felt as though if he didn't see me, I could have definitely got the sack. Definitely, because that game I had a bunch of really good pass rushes. And I knew he saw me. So at that point, I just was trying to do anything to pretty much either delay the throw, get him to hurry up and try to get the ball out, or get him to pretty much hold the ball a little bit longer, or try to get up out of there, whereas though I can make a play or whatever, or maybe just get the sack by pushing this guy into the quarterback. So at that point right there, I just gotta just pretty much try to do whatever I gotta do to either get this guy down or get him to just hold that ball the extra second so somebody else can make the sack.
Yeah, and when you talk pass rushing, people always have like their go-to moves and stuff like that. Do you have something that you kind of like go to, that your move set that you kind of rely on?
I'm a power rusher, so I'm not a big finesse guy. I like the long arm. I do like long arming. I like bulling, speed of power. And I learned something, and I'm not gonna give it away, but you see as the season started to go on, I started getting closer and closer, and start making some sacks and start making some plays or whatever, and affecting the quarterback that I can also use. But yeah, I like the power dudes or whatever, and some moves, it may not be your actually like go-to move, but it may just be a great counter move, based off of what you get. So
yeah, you got to keep the offense tackle honest, is what I've always heard. You got to
absolutely, you got to keep them honest.
Yeah, have them expecting multiple things here, and doing whatever you can to kind of expose their chest too, and kind of get inside, which you do here well. You guys make that contact, and you're able to open up his chest here, and that's what is the kind of the key for you driving this guy back. How big is it though because you said you're a power guy, you're a bull rush guy, you like to use that power. How big is it for you to get that position inside when you're using those power rush moves?
It's important, you sometimes when you rush, you want to make the tackle stop his feet. You want to get him in a position where as though he uncomfortable or whatever the case may be, and you got to know how to use weight distribution really good. Get him leaning one way, putting all his weight one way, and counter opposite.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. And then going to this next clip here, we're talking a little bit about run defense, and I know that's been a really big area where the Colts.
I consider myself, and I think personally, I'm definitely a top run defender in this league, hands down.
Yeah, for sure. And I know the Colts used you and, Jabaal Charles a lot these last 2 years whenever there was a lot of, for run defense, you guys were two of the best.
Right.
And I kind of wanted to start with that. Jabaal Charles, you come to Indy, and Jabaal is, already one of the best run defenders in the league for sure when you come in. Did he kind of help you or mentor you at all when you kind of came to Indy here?
Mm, we both see things the same way, so we always have discussions about different things or whatever the case may be. And some plays, we do play them differently or whatever, but it kind of worked hand in hand because like you said, he's a great run defender or whatever. So just watching them, I learned some stuff or whatever the case may be, along with some of the things I was coaching, some of the things I already kind of knew.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And, when it comes to run defense, defensive ends, anyone on defense, you want to be rushing the passer. That's always where you want to be, even if, run defense is something that you're really strong at. Getting after the passer is always the big thing. But, you have to be able to be ready for the run as well as being ready for the pass. What kind of tells do offenses give you to, this play is going to be a run, this play is going to be a pass? What are you kind of looking for?
I mean, it depends. Like I said, like each week you will break down. You get a scouting report. You will break down the team and all that type of stuff. You will see what they like to do. You will see what he like to do. You will see how he likes to, play different things and stuff like that. And a lot of things is just the field things, is understanding football and just understand what that guy is trying to do and use that against him.
Yeah, for sure. And, here you're facing the outside stretch run here. You do a great job of getting that outside position on the tackle and then fighting back inside for the tackle here. But how big is it, when you see that stretch going your way, is to win that outside leverage and force that play back?
At the end of the day, I'm definitely trying to set the edge, but I want that running back to see that he cannot get outside at all. I want him to see that I got the edge. You cannot get outside. Whereas I know, he's going to commit to that inside gap, and then I could gap in the half. Because he's definitely not expecting that. It looked like okay, I can't get outside. I'm just going to hit this gap as hard as I can. And the tackle was giving me everything he got to try to pretty much knock me out of that gap, which is okay. And then I'm kind of using his momentum and letting him go which way he want to go, and playing off that outside foot and come under, on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, everything, I mean, this clip overall, I just think is just great technique here for defensive end, covering the, the stretch play or power play, whatever it might be. Just from your hand usage, from where it is on that outside shoulder there, from planting your foot, from the swim back inside and, gap and a half, like you just said there. I just think this is technique here, perfect technique here. And like you said, since you've been in Indy, you've been one of the better run defenders in the league. Was that something that was always something you wanted to work on? Was it something that you've always naturally been at? Like, where did that kind of hit you? Like, I'm a damn good run defender,
It's to be honest with you, is something that's natural. I kind of got a feel for what the guy's trying to do to me to let me know that it's running past, and I got a feel for how to pretty much get off blocks to make plays and stuff like that. So I think it's all about really just playing your technique, having gap integrity, and pretty much, and if you can get off a block and make a play, just do that, or whatever the case may be. But it start with just being strong in your spot, being stout.
Yeah, absolutely. And then going this next play against the Panthers here, this is one of my favorite rushes of the year. I'm just going to let it play here where you're able to, beat the guy with power and then, make that really quick sack. Again, just a very quick sack getting back there. But, getting to your bull rush again here. It was that, from the start here, you're going for that bull rush on this guy from that wide nine technique. Is that what your kind of plan of attack was here?
Yeah, so what happened sometime early in that game, I bull rushed him, and I realized, damn, this dude is not that strong. So when I bull rushed him and I realized he wasn't that strong, I said, whenever I get a chance to rush him again, or whenever I get a chance to rush him again, or I get a one-on-one, I'm going to go back to him, and I'm going to bull rush him. But I know when I bull rush him, the quarterback can feel me coming. He's going to step up, and I'm going to come under. So that play right there, I kind of felt like I was going to get a sack on that.
Yeah, for sure. And you definitely did here. And, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with that plan of attack. The film study is big, watching all week. but adjusting throughout the game and really feeling out your opponent is also pretty big too, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, how much would you say kind of goes into that kind of feeling out process? And like, would you say that's majority of how, I guess, kind of where your movesets come like later in games or whatever? Like, a lot of what you're doing is just kind of reacting to what you felt early in the game.
Say that again. The question.
So would you say like a lot of kind of, when it comes to pass rushing, right? A lot of what you are doing later in ball games comes from what you're kind of feeling earlier in the game, kind of feeling out that
Sometimes,
guy.
yeah. Sometimes a lot. Sometimes based off what you're getting and what you're feeling or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you're setting them up for later on in the game. Sometimes you see something from the sideline. Sometimes you feel something and see something when you're in the game. You're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna come back to that because I could get them on that. And that's sometimes that's what it comes down to. Just being a pro and just understanding football and paying attention, playing the game within the game. That's all it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this last clip here again against the Panthers, which was a great game for you. I mean, I think you had 2.5 sacks in this game. You were all over the place. Did you have a feel at all going into that game, like, hey, this might be a big game for me or anything, or it was just a normal game
No,
that exploded
it
for
was
you?
just a good game. I mean, each week I play as hard as I can and do everything I can do to, be successful and have a great game. But yeah, that right there was just a stunt that was called, and I just ran it hard. And I realized that it's the way he said it the way he set from the beginning kind of gave me the opportunity to really just rip it in there, as hard as I can and get to the
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah, and on these stunt plays, I talked to, I think, Kamoko Toure about it as well. When you're doing these stunt plays, when you're shooting inside, how much are you trying to occupy that tackle to help your inside guy looping around, and how much are you kind of like are you kind of trying to do both at the same time? I guess also get to the sack and also kind of occupy that tackle.
Some stunts you're not really occupying anything. I wouldn't say. I would just kind of say like you really got a landmark you're trying to get to,
Okay.
as far as a gap, or something like that you're trying to get to. Along with that, you got to have good instincts and be a football player as well. Understand that the quarterback still have the ball, get to the quarterback. If the running back have the ball, get to the running back. So,
Yeah.
We just running patterns. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely, man. And this next year is a big year here, like you said, going into that contract year soon. Your clips last year from your highlights when they let you rush, when they had you out there for run defense, you did a lot of good things last year. But a couple questions here before we end this off is, the Colts made a couple big additions actually on the defensive line this year. DeForest Buckner's coming in, who is a former All-Pro. Sheldon Day is going to come in and kind of be that depth on the interior. How big do you think, a guy like Buckner is really going to help you as a kind of an edge rusher and a run defender? How much is that going to help you?
It's so huge to have great inside guys so the quarterback don't step up. So sometimes when you got a guy on the inside is getting pressure or whatever, it helps your rush on the edge because the quarterback drops back deeper. So it makes your pass rush, it makes it easier to get to the quarterback or whatever the case may be because the quarterback can't step up or whatever. So it works hand in hand, and if you're coming off the edge hard, the quarterback might step up and you got good guys rushing in the middle. So, everybody's just, one hand washes another. So it's very important to have a great interior guy like D-Buck, and, he's definitely going to, help us a lot. And, I'm happy to have him, and, on our team. And, I'm happy he's my teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Jabaal Charles was a guy who he got a lot of playing time. I know I talked about him earlier. He's no longer with the team. The team didn't sign any other defensive ends. So you kind of assume that like that defensive end role is kind of there for you, that strong side guy, that more playing time is kind of there for you. Are you kind of expecting more of like a big year, more playing time this next year going forward?
Hopefully or whatever, I'm not expecting anything to be given to me. I'm going to work hard and do what I need to do to put myself in position to be that guy and play a lot and stuff like that and exceed at the position, and that's what it's about. So being that they didn't sign a guy yet, I don't want to talk too fast, but it says a lot about, how they feel about the guys in the room. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's a really talented room.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of talented guys, and I think you guys are going to have a great season here. But, I want to say thank you for jumping on today and talking some film. And I don't think Colts fans realize how good some of your clips were and how good some of your game was last year. So hopefully they can look at this.
Yeah, I mean, some people, like, no disrespect to the fans. I love the fans, and they play a major part in making the game what it is. But a lot of people don't understand football, and they don't understand that, some guys are role players and some guys are put in certain positions, whereas though, about like when they come down to being a great defense, you got some roles guys that got to just execute their role and, do 100 miles per hour. So they don't see, you setting the edge. They don't see you, freeing up other guys and stuff like that. And that's okay, whatever. If you know football, you understand, what I'm doing when I'm out there. So, it's not all about, I'm going to say it's like everybody's not going to have double-digit sacks. Everybody's not, going to have all that. And sometimes it happens, if it happens, it happens. But at the end of the day, I'm all for the team or whatever the case may be. And, everybody get put in different positions, and whatever position you're in, your job as an NFL player is to be the best teammate and be the best guy, you could be at mastering your current role, whatever that role may be. So, if you do that, opportunity will come, hopefully this year. I definitely get, more opportunity, play more, get more snaps in the course of the game or whatever the case may be. And then, you have more chances to make more plays and get to the quarterback and do bigger things, whatever the case may be. So you earn that. That ain't just given. So, I'm happy, I'm with the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm happy to really get ready for the season, look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. And, you mentioned kind of knowing your role, and also some guys play a big role in what creates these other things there. And that's definitely something I would classify you as these last 2 years, a very quiet role player that has been doing a lot for this team. Did it take you a bit to kind of accept that that's a role in the NFL that, maybe not yours, or it can be for anyone?
Yeah, it didn't take me long to accept that, like, I want to do is whatever coach asks me to do, I'm willing to do it, whatever the case may be. I just want to win, Anything else that comes with that is going to come with that, whatever. So all you got to do, my thing is I'm type player is execute your current role. And when you do that, your role get bigger, get extended, and you get more success. So nothing is given in this league. And once you understand that, you'll be okay with anything that comes your way, or anything that, any position you put in and anything the coaches ask you to do. And most of the great players in this league, they're okay with doing that.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time today. And one last question before I let you go here, just one last thing. If we have football this year, knock on wood, hopefully we do, but what can we kind of expect from not only this Colts team, but this kind of new Colts defense here going forward?
We're going to get better. I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that. And, it's going to be an excellent year. And I can't wait to get back in the building, around the facility, and get to work, especially with the new guys that we added on to this Colts defense. We're going to get better.
Awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time, man. You stay safe out there.
All right, you too.
All right.